All right, the TX Hill Country flooding and Hillary and the possible lavender marriage with her and Bill. That LBJ, that pound, that 116, the 911 on the flip side. The more than 230 emergencies, 2 feet of rain, the 24, that's the crowning on the 23. And the 24 clock, that's tying into your 2002 SARS 1. All right, so you're coming up on that 24 clock. And then the nearly year, that's the 365, 365, 369, 6511, the 911 years, the 28, 29, 30, 31 for your calendar. Okay, that's all coming up for your 48/49 if the 48 comes early or whatever. But the second coming of Adania playing out, the crazy elections and those types of things to be coming here. And then also where the dark DC's here and they're taking out like old lights and then they just replace it with the Genesis kind of thing, that genetic nest for the switch, the blue, the red, the removed remote controls from the screen and those things, as you say, techno. As you find out, it's the rise of Baal, and Baal was returned as a Abel, and that 10% for the begotten and those things. But that's a whole nother story you can go and listen to. I've just did a recent video on those things, and we'll be doing a compound effect, so to speak, as you're taking into that compound. And that compound is where you front that money to the buddy and they never return, right? That's probably what's playing on the world stage, as you have the Wynn Casino on one side, the Trump Casino on the other side, the Vegas Strip playing in real time, and that V-gas, the EV, the gas, the saggy boobs with the man, and we're showing the brawls over there in one way, and then the brawls being shown up in the soccer for the Abraham, and that Cobra Kai and the Kai dressed in the gold and all that stuff. But either way, folks, the Caryville, the Mark Stewart, the Stew for the Hebrews, the Jacob and Esau, that Harry, the Harry and Joe. We see the Uvalda mixed in there, Megan the Markhill in the suitcase, the lower and uppercase vowels and consonants, forward, backward counts. But they were down there after that school shooting, and then we got the floodwaters happening again almost a year later, or nearly that year, that 9/11. But that TX Hill Country, the BJ, the Arkansas, the Clinton, the Ozarks, that Justin Bateman, the Batman, if you're a little kid or whatever, that accent, Batman, Justin Batman. Oh, you mean Bateman for the masturbator. Right, for a fisher of man. Anyways, the Graham just passed away. That DMT trip coming upon the earth, and those aliens, the illegal aliens, and now they're reporting. Now there's people doing DMT trips that the aliens are telling them they can't come back and telling them they can trip again, and those types of whatever things. So we'll get into some psychedelic lessons for you people, because I understand that we haven't all gone down into that little trip area, okay? So, the Crockett, the Sea Rocket, the Little Rocket Man, the ozone layer back there in the 80s with that pregnancy, and that Sid Vicious and those types of things with the Sid Miller, and the Miller is the Willer on that backside for your Willy Wonkers. And then we got finally that Montel Williams speaking up, the Montel Tail of the Dragon consuming itself. The Williams for the Will I Am. And the Willpower. The Prince William. Alright. The King coming. The Tejano. The Tejano. The Han. Part of the man with the right hand. They're interchangeable for the Enter the Dragon. The Comfort. The Comfort is here for your coming of Canada, United States, and Mexico, and the Mexico, the Sheehan bombs. That salvation. With those coconuts cracking open. The little brown plastic bottles. Oh, the Gillespie, the pie, the gill pie for the fish. The hook, line, and sinkers. The gill, the Jill, the keelers. The killers for the Travis Kelce and the Taylor Swift and those types of things. And that takes me back to that powder puff game and borrowing that cheerleader outfit. So this is where we all have done some of these things and whatever back in high school while you're going to the church and whatever. And they teach you this, that, or the other. But, oh, it's okay to dress up like the lady as long as it's Halloween or powder puff game or whatever. You know, you shouldn't never let a man touch your balls. But if it's the doctor, it's okay. And if it's for the SS, the super sports, it's okay. Okay? So just look away and cough. Oh, sorry, boys. We got to do practice before school. If we do that, then you got to shower. And we're going to put all the showers together. So then you have the doctor cupping your nuts. And then you got to go play ball. And then you got to be forced into a shower with all these other dudes. And then you start seeing heads aren't all the same in there. So either way, we're going to take a quick break. And then we will be right back. So this SS Super Sports, the locker room, the pedicure that Jesus is giving to the people washing the feet and whatever, it's going to be coming to the people. And y'all are all doing the same exact things voluntarily in a medical setting for that medicine, the sin, the moon, God, where you're reflecting the light of your so-called man, your religion, and your pills, and your over-the-counter pills, and all these things are drugs. You're all drugged up in one way, shape, or form. You're antibiotics with the biogenesis warfare self-replicating mechanism, the mRNA. And then you have the spike protein session with the Novavax. And then you have the SARS-1 from 2002 and that setting. And these little stacks of time. So the novel virus, the numbering on the veil, the Moses that creates the veil. Moses brings the law. Jesus brings the truth and grace. All right. So the truth and grace is all being served up as that little Yellowstone session and the vision and all those things come into wraps. And either way. So, the Texas and the Hill Country and the Kingsland, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Elon came out with the Texas Chainsaw. And this is where, oh man, the man who eats the people and covers up and all this. And then we're being told about the Ed Gaines and those kinds of things. So these are like prequels. And then we have the Rocky prequel coming up as far as the life of the Sylvester Stallone. So this is where you get like a merge and overlays of real versus Israel and whatever they told you was coming. So either way, folks, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the LBJs, This thing where Erica Kirk, she might have ran across an old video of him in college or whatever, sucking some black dude off or whatever kind of thing, right? So, we may see some things like that. Or it might be Trump. Be different. I don't know who's on which picture or whatever, doing the blackmail, whatever, and doing the Red Wings, midget, fucking whatever, and whatever's going on, okay? I don't have all that pinned down. That's where the lip syncing and the prophecy mirrors and those types of things where I try to tell you that it's prophecy that I've told you, but it's like mirroring in or it's lip syncing or those types of things. Because everything was shown a certain way, had the dreams, all those things interwoven, and plus the life before and putting all those things together. So this is where I'm doing an Israel, and all those things. And anyway, if you've been following, hopefully you understand. If you haven't, then I'm just some fucking crazy guy. So, but you know, the 20,000 plus posts and the 400 plus hours of putting things together backwards in some weird way, and because it's kind of started. Reading the Bible, and is when the veils and shit were lifting or whatever. It's like, and one part was when the trumpet sounded, the world shut down, all these things were stacked. But do you see this? Talking to the wife, and it's like, read it again. She read it again, and then it's like things are just clicking, and then it's just like, that's part of that John 3:16, where he's talking to the Pharisee about the begotten son. Then Paul takes you back into the garden, saying Jesus, second Adam, and then all those types of things. So that's where the whole story is wrong, because some people barely know Adam and don't even just know that he was just swinging guns around with the cowboys. Right? But the ODD, the Old Dirty Don, and Owen Money, and points of light through where this guy knows this one, and then you come in after the scene, and you find out that that guy righted on that guy, and then, but you're friends with this guy, and then it's all some weird fucked up kind of thing. But you're just like, there, and you're witnessing all of it, and you're just happen to be brought into whatever kind of thing you witness, those types. So this is kind of what I see happening. And then some dude witnessed something, goes back and tells the wife, and the wife, well, you just can't let this thing, you gotta do something and whatever else kind of thing. Or you might have the crazy sister finding out about it, and then the crazy sister's the one who actually does it. Or it's where it's like this point plan, and then this point plan, all the sides of the octagon, or the shit, I'm having a brain fart on the geometric shape, but all the triangles and all those things being together in different ways as the web comes together. So that's where all the stuff's going to be put together, but it was only able to be done if things were shown here. And it's like where I'm doing a lot of numbers, and if you followed along and whatever, you've seen a progression in different things, hopefully. And then like I try and do a base code for a while, or a month, 2 months, and then teach y'all different parts of the matrix to break this, just things all going off in my head all the fucking time. Okay, so as I'm just connecting all these things, I'm putting out the easy base points or whatever. That's where my page is only like an eighth or a fraction or whatever of actually what is going on, because I can't even like express what is going on in a way, because so fucking nuts or whatever. But this is also just part of playing your highlights game as an adult and connecting the cryptography, spiritual cryptography. This it's where you see a spiritual cryptography in a physical way if you work the industry, where everybody comes in and they blend in lunch and dinner and all these things with these things, so the people don't really notice that you have to be in where the people are all ordering fucking chicken fingers that day, or they're all wanting a flat top or whatever kind of thing. So as all these things are coming out, it's all connecting, all right? And that's where one is flowing into the other, and that's where, like, the gas in the Iran, and then you got the Schumer. The Schumer's going to be tied to Yeshua, and then Trump came out with the gold high tops and the gold shoes or whatever, and that's tying into the gold bricks for Oz and all that stuff. And then you have the witches being evil in different ways, but one's evil and one, or whatever. So, if you don't see the evil in the white one, can't help you. All right, when all she had to do is just tell her to click her heels instead of make her walk all the fucking around and whatever else. But either way, the Blue Angels buzzing the coast of the Florida, and the cycloptic spores or whatever, all this is going to be tying into, and then you got the Chinese hacking the election, so-called 2020. Told you those things were coming. It's the 220. That's the 220 clock, 230, the emergency, all those things all coming together with a clock, right? As you're in the 25 of 9/11 carrying over, coming up in September. And then you got the 9-year on the woman clothed in the sun. So, as the Key West, and taking your keys, the rainbow, and that looks like a big pee-pee, and the cum coming off of it or whatever. All these things are coming as you got the cum, the Canada, United States, Mexico here. And this is where you have the tenderizer for the meat, where you have bisexuals, and they're going and fucking a butt over there, and then going and fucking a vagina over there, and you're getting whatever's going on, okay? So, I'm just telling you what's going on, folks, because it doesn't take a genius to necessarily figure it out, all right? That pinky goes on that tang, keep that balance on that two-edged sword, and you got a two-edged sword in front of you as far as your fucking world, right? Positive, negative. Oh, well, how are you today, Miss Sally? The world's perfect. There's no fucking color. There's only black and white, and it's all separated, segregated. Fun with your racism as you're entering that salvation, to be selfish and to be that self-preserving system. Can I get an amen? Do you feel the power of Jesus today? Are you going to walk down and accept him as your Lord and Savior? I thought you were already supposed to do that. It's church. It's for those people of that cult. Okay? And then you got the 400 plus denominations. Which one's right? Well, they teach salvation this way. You can lose it. You can't lose it. This one teaches Jesus, there is no sin. This one teaches there's still sin. You still gotta love like a dead person. You can't do shit. You can't touch anything can be a sin. Oh no. I mean, it's so fucking confusing. What's sin to one is not sin to other. The one with a sin is the weak-minded one. All this stuff. So all of y'all fucking weak-minded. Yes, give me my pills. I need to feel better. I need to laugh again. My sons and daughters never call me. Well, maybe they just don't like talking on the phone. They show you this image. Well, if he really loves me, he'll do this, this, and this, and this. And it's a projection of non-reality, as it's a fucking movie. And then y'all need these fucking pills because you're all getting entertainment watching people being slaughtered on your movies. And you don't have any fucking outlet. You're in there to do in the mind is to do in the body. So when you're just sitting back in the fucking alpha stage and you're just in that American dream, oh shit, his head just got slaughtered. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You're getting all this whatever, right? You don't have an outlet for it. express the grief and whatever else that comes with killing an animal or killing a human or whatever the fuck y'all are doing, okay? Some of us have killed the deer in the woods. And you're doing it for food, not for just going to fucking kill animals. Then you go and kill a minnow to catch another. I mean, if you care about animals or whatever, you'll stop doing this, then that's where the net comes in versus the hook. But they don't want you to fucking net because then you're actually fishing. You're catching shit, right? So, it's all set up against you. Take your fucking fishing away. They take away your hunting. They take away your, forest. I mean, some of these states are easy to hunt in, and some of the states are nearly impossible. So it's just like, United States, there ain't fucking nothing united about it. Every fucking state is different. Just no taxes. What? So that's where everything's been kind of like a concept in a way, and an experiment, and just like the education system. And this is where everything's going to come in through the whatever kind of thing, and then be reset out of it. All right. So this is where we go into it and out of it. And there'll be, this be where also the firmament comes in, where the internet we have today and the way we use it and whatever will be kind of split off. The way I would see it is where this thing would be used for learning and more on that kind of spectrum versus, and then you have your TV entertainment and whatever that'd be on your TV. And this is where they're bringing they brought it all in, and now they got to divide it. And this is where the spirit, the entertainment and all that stuff is going to be where you make your trillionaires in the new America, while you start redoing the food and the growing and rebuilding the earth and whatever else. So, and then also the housing, to redo all these things. That's where you have to go into that spectrum, and then it turns and flips and whatever else. And that's where you get the redo on the earth. And that's where you also get those sands that you go into the store and you just turn half of it and you see it sliding down. We're doing all those things kind of all at once in different areas of time as we're come in those 22 to 26 time frames. And the alpha state, the alpha and beta state, as far as the 1920s and the alpha wave to the alpha generation, and coming up out of that American dream and the dream of what America should be and all those things, as the X generation X is right in the middle of these things, the old and the new. And that's the crossroads coming, and then you'll have the millennial reigns coming, and the millennial reigns and the crossroads and the Gen Z all coming into the power at the same time to do all those things or whatever. And political correctness has been brought on. So you're taking everything into that little thing as far as in the mouth. So this is when those people go behind, just because somebody says fuck or whatever, right? That's what Hunter Biden is doing for the Nimrods as they cast their shit for Babylon. And that's the Nimrod and all that. The Lord creates the good and evil. So that's where the Lord, this image, has been given, and where you can't cuss and what, you can't say those words, and okay. And then they show us people in England, them just talking like, well, fuck this, fuck, and nobody's getting mad at all, right? So this is where y'all just been trained and triggered to be scared of a fucking snake. But you're scared and triggered to, oh, he said bitch or shit or whatever. He talks naughty. If he's got the Jesus in him that I know, he won't talk like that. Well, the Jesus I know died on the cross, so to speak. And he rose again. He shed his blood to cover all the sins, past, present, and future. So if you got the Jesus, you don't sin because you are that begotten Son, because Jesus gives us the freedom to be any religion we want to be, to practice religion, our daily rituals, our so-called addictions, the way we want to do. The problem is the so-called addictions are being taught to you and brought to you in the time and space. The space and time is all fucked up right now. Okay? So, and those of us who have partied back in the day, in the millennium and whatever, when the ecstasy, and you lived in the major cities like Dallas, you'd go to the after clubs, or the clubs open from till the 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever. The after clubs would open up at 4 and go till 8, 10 or whatever. But you would see these cops in the corner, chilling, watching everything just fucking go down. And then you have clubs like the Clubhouse, owned by people like Pantera. And then you show these people like, I forget her name. She owned Red Jacket and these types of things. But these celebrities, they basically invested, or Start Club turned into Area 51. Area 51 had the tunnel underneath it. But all these clubs probably had cameras in them, just like Studio 54 and doing the House of Usher, those types, where they are just collecting all this data. That's part of the data collection. And they tell you they're watching you from the eyes in the sky. And now they're telling you, well, we can zoom in to on the camera. So all this so-called sci-fi in the future and all this, it's already fucking here, folks. All right. So, it's where you're in the 1984 already, and you got your 48th presidency coming up, and as the 1984 and the 48th and all these things, that Jesus is going to rise up in the people, and that's going to take down the government in one way, shape, or form on this level, but leave the government on this level. And then that's also where the government can come in and be like, well, the people are all fucking dumb. We're living in idiocracy. And they're not noticing this or noticing that or whatever. And then we got the fake news, so to speak. We got real news and fake news, because you had the 24-hour news come on. The 24-hour news is lining up with your 24-year on the SARS-1 and all those things. But that's a marker in your 85 for your pregnancy, and the OJ and the glove fits, the must quit, and that blaze. All that shit was probably a fucking movie. You can just take it at that. And like Charles Manson, they've done a face match on Charles Manson and George Bush. It's like a 98% match or whatever. So it's where everything can just be all boom, boom, boom. Okay? And that's where you're going to see, going back in time, as you're in that 11 with the 47. Don't be fucking surprised if they did some shit where Biden comes back as fucking president. 85th or whatever. That'd be the 85 and the King Spirit coming together again. And you go on a fucking Groundhog Day, and that's when you know who he is, and the begotten Son, because he's the 46. Trump is also the 46, and that's where you got to have a dictator for the dictator, and all those little things coming in for that little hot potato around that little campfire. So the tuba and the tub and the little kizzy and the nizzy, the ahs and the, either way. The upside down world, as it's upside down, to get it fully, whatever, you might have like this year or 10 years or whatever, 10 years, but you see the 48 doing this through the 48, and this would have been a little bit ahead of time and whatever, but all these things are all cracking open now, as you got your Israel spies and Epstein maybe having intelligence with Israel, and that's going to tie into your blackmail situation. And then the bodyguard and the grandma for Kim K just died. So that's going to tie into hiding up some stuff, because that's part of the Spice Girls. The Spice Girls are the spy girls that are going around, these high-level prostitutes, and they hang out on a lot of times and just get information. And then, just so y'all know, I knew a gynecologist through one of these high-level prostitutes or whatever. I used to do her hair and extensions or whatever. But, and like the Hooter girls and whatever did their hair. But when you hang out with these girls that are in this business, they tell you things about these men and whatever else. But one of them used to bring in her sugar daddy, and they did not have relations or whatever on that kind of aspect. That he just liked to be seen with hot chicks or whatever. But he was a gynecologist, and he was just that normal dude like that goes and inspects your pussy and shit. So that hanging out with these types of girls and whatever. So this is where all these things are kind of going together, and the women with the women and the men with the men and those types. That's where we can go into. We've shown this projection where the black and white comes again, where the women do go with the women, okay? Or the peckers with peckers and the tacos with tacos. So that's where all that kind of is going into, but you're also going to have where it's okay if the pecker wears the dress, okay? So there's always been dudes wearing dresses. You just don't know about it. Or if you do know about it, you just get a fucking chuckle at it. Those things. So, but chuckle, the Charlie Brown and all this, those are kind of overlays as far as your Christmas spirit and that little teeny weeny tree. And your Tucker Carlson, tuck it in for your 48th flight and those kinds of things, as we need a new Lady Liberty to stand up for the freedom of America through Erica Kirk and bring everybody in through the red Nazi regime, through the Christian nationalism, because Christians have stolen the inheritance of God in this land. It's one nation under God, not one nation under Jesus or Jesus Christ or whatever kind of thing. All right? That's where you're moral. And your Miles Morales, that spider, like that bitch you long ago, you just can't get over. That Arnold Schwarzenegger just really did one in for me. I think I said his name wrong. Shit, don't hate me for it. That's just the programming they did back then while they gave you the Blazing Saddles. And the Blazing Saddles are here now with the Iran and the hip bands and the Schedule 1 to 3. And now the Senate is reflecting a light of the precious cannabis that was banned in the garden. That gives you knowledge and lets you know the good and evil and talk about these things that are upon the earth as you've gone into this. They needed to ban weed before they showed you the fucking moon landing. Because you'd be watching me, what the fuck are we watching, bro? They're like, are you sure they said this was real? Because it was just like the song said, 50 years later, it's made in a Hollywood basement. Universal Studios, 1917, way before NASA. Spinning Ball Earth, black and white. Taking you into the void. Oh, man, y'all. Either way, we'll wrap it up here.